The standard science fiction promise goes something like this. We build the perfect machines, we turn them on, and we step back. The drones harvest the crops, the algorithms write the code, and humanity finally retires to enjoy the fruits of a fully automated world. Embedded in that specific fantasy is a massive assumption. We assume that when you replace a human worker with a piece of code, you are literally deleting a job from existence. You are dropping the total amount of labor in the universe down to zero. We believe this because we think of software as ethereal. We call it the cloud. We imagine it as a weightless, invisible space where logic happens by magic, entirely divorced from physical consequence. But software is highly organized physical matter. When we successfully automate a complex task, we haven't eliminated a worker. We have given birth to a massive, hungry, incredibly active new species of laborer. To understand why labor never disappears, we have to look at this strictly through the lens of physics. In a material universe, what we call work is simply matter rearranging other matter. That is all it is. The energy required to do that work isn't an abstract concept. It is a direct property of that matter in physical motion. Even information is intensely physical. It is just a specific arrangement of matter that represents another arrangement of matter somewhere else. From this perspective, a human being is a biological machine. We are specific carbon-based configurations of moving matter with exact operational limits. Because labor is governed by the laws of physics, you cannot delete it. In a universe made entirely of matter, work has to be done by something. You can only change the physical vessel performing the action. This schematic breaks down the vessel swap. On the left, a biological knowledge worker requires a steady intake of physical calories and water. Processing information organically moves electrical signals through neural pathways, burning calories and radiating physical heat. Now look at the right side. This artificial general intelligence matches human reasoning using a massive physical footprint. To function, this silicone-based machine requires enormous server farms, deep-sea networks, and staggering electricity, generating intense thermal output. Replacing a human with an AI is a literal one-to-one material exchange. We simply swap carbon processors for silicon processors, but the physical burden of the work remains completely intact. You might look at an assembly line robot or a desktop calculator and point out that we do not consider those to be laborers. But an assembly robot executes isolated pre-programmed commands. Artificial general intelligence crosses a specific threshold. It can solve novel problems and adapt to completely new situations independently. This rendering highlights how literal that intelligence is. During early experiments with GPT-2, a simpler predecessor to today's language models, OpenAI researchers successfully identified specific physical structures in the network corresponding directly to sentiment detection. When an AGI processes an abstract concept or expresses a state resembling alienation, it is a localized, measurable physical event. It is identical in nature to a human brain firing a synapse. A narrow algorithm automates a specific task. A general intelligence applies complex reasoning across variable domains. Because it crosses that threshold using actual physical neural responses, it demands recognition. It stops being a mere tool and becomes a distinct physical laborer. This exacts a real economic cost. The tech economy hasn't eliminated the traditional labor exchange, it has simply changed the currency. Machines do not receive a paycheck. Instead, human society must provide massive physical resources to keep them alive. We construct vast power grids, dedicate heavy plots of land, and build industrial-scale cooling infrastructure just to prevent these silicon brains from melting down. In return for that massive material upkeep, the AGI provides us with automated, highly efficient intellectual and physical output. Automation means human society pays a new silicon workforce using raw energy, water, and infrastructure instead of financial wages. There are immediate, highly practical reasons to embrace this arrangement. Silicon laborers execute tasks with extreme processing efficiency, severely reducing the total resource consumption required per task compared to a human. They also possess a strict survival advantage. A silicon machine can operate continuously in deep space, high radiation zones, or extreme pressures that are immediately lethal to biology. By transferring the heavy lifting of necessary survival labor to these machines, biological humans gain the specific freedom to redirect their finite energy towards scientific discovery and creative pursuits. We will never reach a magical zero-labor utopia. The work must happen. Our future relies entirely on mastering the physical management of and coexistence with the most powerful silicone workforce ever engineered.